You know, the 19th century was a total revolution for art. I mean, it was this massive seismic shift in how artists saw, felt, and then tried to capture the world around them. We're talking about a journey from like pure emotional chaos to crystal clear, tangible reality.
So the big question is, how on earth did art get from this?
I mean, look at this. It's a swirling vortex of seafoam, smoke, and snow. This isn't just a painting of a storm, right? This is pure feeling. It's trying to show you what it's like to actually be in that terrifying moment.
All the way to this?
And here we are. A totally quiet, peaceful scene right out of the English countryside. You can almost feel that warm sun, right? Hear the water. It's so specific, so calm. It feels real. And that journey, the one that takes us from that crazy storm to this quiet stream, well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
Okay, so our story really kicks off with the absolute master of high drama, the English painter J.M.W. Turner. This guy, he wasn't just interested in painting pretty landscapes, no, he wanted to paint the power of nature itself.
Now, to really get Turner, you gotta understand this key idea from his time, the sublime. It's that feeling, you know the one, when you're standing at the edge of a huge cliff or you're caught in a massive thunderstorm. It's that mix of being totally terrified, but also just in absolute awe of something so much bigger than you are.
Just look at this painting of the mountain pass. The rocks are so jagged, they're immense. The abyss below is dark, and honestly, it's terrifying. And you can barely even spot that tiny little bridge with the people on it. But see, that's the whole point. For Turner, humanity is just a tiny little footnote in nature's epic, massive story.
You can imagine, Turner's style was so wild, so radical for the time, that people just didn't know what to make of it. I mean, one magazine actually published this cartoon here, making fun of him for painting with a mop and a bucket of yellow paint. To a lot of folks, his loose, super expressive brushwork it made no sense. It was incomprehensible.
But get this. At the exact same time Turner is out there chasing these epic storms, another English painter, John Constable, is doing something that's just as revolutionary, but in a much, much quieter way. He was literally just looking at his own backyard.
And the difference between these two guys? Oh, it is stark. Turner, he's all about the sublime, chaos, high drama. Constable, though, he's focused on what they called the picturesque, the calm, observable beauty of one specific place. He didn't want to paint some generic mountain. No way. He wanted to paint the exact look of, say, Willie Lott's cottage on a particular Tuesday afternoon.
And he was so meticulous about this stuff, it was almost scientific. We're talking hundreds of sky studies, just like this one. He'd go out into the fields just to capture the precise way the clouds and the light looked at one specific moment. It's almost like he was an artist moonlighting as a meteorologist.
Okay, so this shift, this move towards painting the real, observable world, it finds its next big champion over in France. There's a group of artists called the Barbizon School, and their leader is a guy named Camille Corot. You can think of him as this really crucial bridge, connecting that big romantic feeling with a totally new kind of realism.
So what was their guiding principle? Well, it was a new idea called paysage intime. That's French for intimate landscape. And the whole goal wasn't to find the biggest, most dramatic view. Instead, it was about finding that quiet, personal, almost poetic feeling of a real, humble place. And this painting right here is the perfect example. See? It's not some grand, sublime vista like Turner would paint. It's just a quiet moment in the forest of Fontainebleau. It feels like you could just walk right into the scene, doesn't it? Corot was way more interested in capturing that gentle, hazy light and the peaceful mood than he was in creating any kind of big drama. But okay. This is where the story takes a really fascinating technological turn, because right when these artists are trying so hard to capture reality more faithfully, a brand new invention pops up: photography. And you can bet Corot and his friends were completely fascinated by it. They started experimenting with all these new photochemical processes just to see what they could do.
And what came out of it was this incredible hybrid art form. It's called a cliché verre. So Corot would take a glass plate, coat it with a dark varnish, and then literally scratch a drawing into it. Then he'd use that plate, like a photographic negative, to make a print. So what you get is a drawing and a photograph all at once. It's really the perfect symbol of how art's relationship with reality was changing.
And all of this brings us to the man who took every one of these ideas and just blew them up into a full-blown revolution.
I'm talking about the unapologetic, the larger-than-life father of realism himself, Gustave Courbet.
Just take a look at the guy. On the left, you've got this photograph. He looks brooding, confident. And on the right, a caricature that totally nails his public image. Brash, proud, and somehow completely down to earth. See, Courbet didn't just paint reality. He was reality. He lived it.
You can basically sum up Courbet's whole philosophy with one legendary quote. Someone asked him why he never painted angels or scenes from mythology, and he supposedly shot back, "I have never seen an angel. Show me an angel, and I will paint one." For him, it was that simple. If you couldn't see it, touch it, or experience it for yourself, it wasn't worth putting on a canvas.
So, where did this whole journey end? Well, the truth is, it didn't really end at all. In fact, this whole path, from the emotional light of Romanticism to the direct observation of realism, it paved the way for the next huge revolution in art, Impressionism.
And the connection, it's just undeniable when you see these two paintings right next to each other. On the left, you've got Turner's train speeding through the rain, painted back in 1844. Then on the right, you've got Monet's train station from 1877. Everything Turner was fascinated with, light, atmosphere, even modern technology like trains, that became the central obsession for the Impressionists just a few decades later.
And if you need one final piece of evidence, this is it. It's pretty stunning. On the left, a sunrise by Turner from around 1840. And on the right, that's Monet's Impression Sunrise from 1872, the painting that literally gave Impressionism its name. That whole quest to capture a fleeting moment of light and color, the one that really started with Turner and Constable, well, it had finally arrived.
So, all this leaves us with a final thought. This whole century-long journey through art, it was about so much more than just painting styles. It was really about learning to look, really look at the world. Which makes you wonder, right? By learning to paint reality, did these artists forever change not just what we see inside a gallery, but maybe how we all see the world itself?